hello. It's Matthew and Justin here from the Basement Boys. Mm-hmm. We're podcasting yet again for the 5th time. Just kidding. This is only like the 3rd one, I think, right?
Something like that.
All right, so we're going to call this number 3, tentatively number 3 until we end up checking.
Basically number 1 because it's been so long. But
yeah, exactly.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with number 3, psychologically number 1, and on your views list number 0, because you're probably never going to hear this. But if you are listening, kudos to you. You found the shittiest channel on YouTube.
This is way too long. We're going to have to cut this down.
That's fine. So, we wanted to talk about a bunch of fighting game topics today, because me and Justin have been thinking about this for a while, and something incredible happened today on this beautiful day of Easter, April 21st, at around fucking like 5 o'clock or some shit. There was some Melee tournament going on at Pound 2019. Supposed to be a nice old tournament. There's some fucking 2D fighters going on there. There's some Melee. There's some Ultimate. You got all your Smash going on there. And
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. And our homeboy Mango was supposed to be having a sick run throughout the bracket. People were like, yo, this is his year. He doesn't get it, sadly, because winners finals, or I think grand finals is between Mango and Hungrybox.
Yeah.
And Mango loses it. And someone might have been mad about that. Because at the end of he didn't like the puff. Because after fucking Hungrybox won, dude stood up and threw a goddamn crab at him. That's like the most Maryland thing I can fucking think of, is a guy keeping a steamed crab around all fucking day and just whipping it at Hungrybox when he loses it. I mean, when he wins grand finals. It's like,
yeah, that was unbelievable. Like, out of all the things that could happen,
all the things,
it's just,
dude could have had a weapon. Dude could have been talking mad shit. He could have been rowdy as fuck. But he decided, out of all the options, to throw a crab. A dead crab.
That's what I don't understand.
Alive one.
Yeah. Can you imagine if it was alive, though?
Dude, if it was a live crab, that would have been sick. Because he would have had to put so much more effort into getting that thing there, and then just keeping it alive for like 6 hours inside this hot fucking dark building where there's a bunch of stinky Smash babies around, you know? That's a chore. That's a real fucking chore.
That poor crab, by the way.
That poor crab. He was stuck with Smashers all day. Hee hee. But I'm covering my bases with irony. Yeah.
So yeah, the guy chucked a crab at Hungrybox, and it almost hit him in the head.
And then he gets up, and he's just like,
he starts screaming into the crowd
as Hungrybox do.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, he just looks at the crab, and he's like, "What?" Like, he just has this look of like pure disgust on his face, and then he just fucking incredible. Stands up holding the crab, and the casters, they're like, "What is he holding? What's going on?" And you just see Hungrybox like yelling into the crowd, like, "Who the fuck threw this crab at me?"
It's great.
It's great.
It's so unprecedented. And so we've got some insider info from Twitter here. And from what I saw, I think me and Justin's stories differ here a bit, because the stuff that I've seen shows a dude that looks like Ninja.
That's
and he's in like an American flag bandana, and he was sitting front row, probably next to the dude that Justin's talking about with the snapback on. They might have been the same person with the hat on at one point and with the hat on. No, with the hat off at another time. Yeah. So it could be the same person, but we don't know. But all I'm saying is the dude looked like Ninja. Now,
Ninja.
I know it was
Ninja.
I'm not saying it was Ninja. No. I'm getting there. Don't worry. This was proven by Esam and a bunch of other people on Twitter. They were looking. They had the picture of the dude. They talked to the dude earlier in the day who was showing them the crab. Like, a bunch of people saw the crab just left on the chair for like hours at some point, or this dude walking around flaunting it. So it's a hell of a thing to flaunt. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a hell of a thing to flaunt,
especially in Maryland too.
That's they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
That's like being in New York and be like, "Yo, look at this slice of pizza I got.
Yo,
man.
Look at these Tims I got. Pizza. It's New York, my man. Everyone's got Tims. You're not special, kid. But this dude's flaunting the crab. And now we're looking back. We're on the same track here. We're looking back a few months ago. Ninja tweeted, "Melee community, I got big things coming for you."
The big thing was a crab.
Was this the thing? Was Ninja's Echo Fighter at Pound 2019? Did he whip a crab at Hungrybox? Was this the big thing that he was talking about?
It definitely was.
Thoughts on that?
Like, so here's the deal. Ninja, what is he known for in the past? Yelling at children.
Throwing crabs.
And throwing crabs.
I
So
don't know
all
if he's
I'm
actually
saying-
done it, but
All I'm saying is that in the past, he was known for yelling at children while he was playing like DayZ or not DayZ, H1Z1 or some shit like
Yeah.
that. So, we know he has a dark past.
oh, of course.
So
Incredibly.
now, how do we know he hasn't thrown crabs at people?
I mean, there's no way to disprove the fact that he could have thrown a crab at someone randomly in the past, you know? It's totally possible. The only thing I'm thinking of is this dude didn't have blue hair. So what color is Ninja's hair currently? I'm assuming it's still blue, right?
I'm pretty sure it's still blue.
So
I
did
haven't
Ninja
looked
go
at Ninja.
undercover,
Ninja dyed his hair. for
dyed
the
his hair
sole
back to
purpose
brown,
of throwing
back
a
to his
crab.
natural color, and whip a crab at Hungrybox? That would be metal.
All right, yeah. Yeah, no, I think this is definitely, we got something here.
This is plausible, right?
We definitely have something here that other people did not know.
No, not at all.
Definitely. 100%.
So I need you fiends to be out there finding incriminating evidence proving the fact that Ninja,
That Ninja
may have thrown a crab at some point in the past.
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty simple, right? That's like like you guys found Shia LaBeouf's flag in like fucking days.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard to find out if Ninja's thrown a crab or not in his life.
I can't believe that this man had the audacity to throw a crab at Hungrybox because he was playing Jigglypuff.
What do you think that crab smelled like, dude?
Smell like a crab, dude.
It probably smelled like dick,
Like,
dude.
It
probably
like a
smelled
crab.
like
Yeah, he
stinky
was probably holding
nutsack.
it on his dick for a while. Because realistically, I don't think you could leave that crab on that chair in the front for that long.
Well, like
you know?
dried fish smell like shit.
Well, yeah, but like this
was
is a crab
cooked,
that's been
probably.
sitting around too, so
Oh.
it's gonna be extra stinky.
Yeah, it's got stink accumulated. It's got Smash player stink. It's got crab stink. And that thing has a shell too. Like it's not like you can whip a crab at someone. You can inflict some serious
That would
damage.
hurt. If he hit,
That would hurt
if
like
he
a
hit him in the
motherfucker.
head, he would have been like
He would've killed him.
genuinely. Yeah, I don't. All right, yeah, he would have died.
He would have died.
Hungrybox would have died. It would have hit him
This
in his
man-
head. He wouldn't have had a skull anymore.
Crabman made an attempt on Hungrybox's life today, killing all of the professional Puff players in Melee.
Yeah. Okay.
all
that's fair.
one of them. That would have been something. That would have been real something.
Jigglypuff assassination by crab.
Yeah. Jigglypuff assassinated by a crab being thrown at her. She can't block that. She missed rest. You know? She
Mhm.
just missed a
Well,
rest. How
also,
can she fucking...
Her shield is like worthless, you know.
Oh,
So-
absolutely. It doesn't even block most of her body. So, what I'm saying is completely plausible argument here now.
Mhm.
But what I want to talk about is there's other tournaments. There's other games that are game tournaments that are held at Pound. There's 2D fighters. There's probably some rival shit that was going on. This affects multiple communities now, right?
Yeah, you know, definitely. It gets people worried about crab-based assault in the future.
Exactly. So what if people are just going to be straight up banned from bringing food into these events from the outside at this point? It's not just going to be they're going to check you for weapons. They're going to check you for fucking crabs, which they already should be doing because that shit's a disease. So, you know, that's a big fucking deal when it comes to these tournaments. People not being able to bring shit from outside just because a bad
Well, yeah.
apple spoils the
Yeah,
bunch.
you don't want to have to worry about limiting people like that. Unfortunately, you do, because for some reason Smash players are like fucking deranged lunatics or some shit. Because this is something you see a lot. Like I don't really. It's probably just bias at this point, but there's so many videos of people online playing Smash and then like smashing their controllers on the ground or starting to scream when they lose a game, or just generally just doing things that a child would do.
Yeah. Now,
And
before we continue,
It's kind of crazy.
these are both opinions from two people who are basically just not particularly involved in either community on like a tournament level. We don't compete, and we're pretty much just net play warriors, and we play with each other when it comes to a lot of these games. But we also follow a lot of different people from both communities on Twitter, and we see a lot of stuff. YouTube, social media, they're all strong platforms showcasing either babyish behavior or good behavior.
Mhm.
And the
Well, I think-
overwhelming majority of Smash community behavior that I've seen through Twitter that's notable. I'm sure there's a bunch of great people there. I'm not trying to make this blanket argument.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We see a lot
There's
more
always-
notable baby behavior.
There's always
from
good
Smash.
players on every and just people in general in anything. Like it's not
Mhm.
like it's not like playing Smash automatically makes you a baby. It's just a lot of babies happen to play Smash.
Yeah, and it might be because more people play Smash in general. That could genuinely be
That
all
is
it
true.
You know?
I think one thing that you see a lot is that the average person playing Smash at like an Ultimate tournament is probably a lot younger than the people you would see playing like more of the
fucking
poverty
Melty.
fighting games. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
Melty.
poverty FGC, dude.
Because I mean, how many like 15, 16-year-old kids are booting up Melty right now?
Well, how many of them even know what fucking Melty Blood is?
Well, that's
It's
what I'm
not-
saying. Is it's so
it's crazy.
unbelievably, like old at this point, and
It's a grandpa game.
yeah, like it's still a great game, obviously, but
Yeah.
you know, there's not exactly a thriving population with new people coming in all the time,
Mm.
and
that's different
yeah.
for Smash because it's a very popular game.
well,
It's
yeah, I mean,
Nintendo.
basically
It's-
any kid from the last like 20 years has played Smash at some point.
yeah, any of the iterations,
Mhm.
or all of the iterations, to be honest.
Yeah, I've played every Smash game
Yeah.
from 64 on.
Yeah, 64 came out when we were kids, when the fucking
Yeah,
when
like
the N64
4.
was in its prime. We were
Mhm.
playing that all day. So, you know, it's not to say that this stuff isn't something we're highly involved with, because it is.
You know,
We're s-
I think that a lot of this comes from seeing like playing both fighting like more traditional fighting games in Smash for a long time now,
Mhm.
and just seeing the difference between like the top players in both, because generally, you know, the people who are like the top players in the FGC, like let's use like I don't know, like Daigo and like Jay Wong and everyone, you know, like you don't see them throwing their controllers when they lose, but then you get like maybe
Smash
Leffen.
videos of
Yeah, you get videos of
Leffen
like top
throws-
players
he's a-
like
he's a
Leffen.
real
He's throwing his
controller
controller every other day, and like
And
I
I
don't
like Leffen too, but that kind of behavior, it's not particularly to be excused, you know?
well, yeah,
Just
I mean,
'cause
it's like
they're cool.
at the end of the day, even if you're playing for a lot of money and like potential sponsorships and everything, you still have to be not like a complete goon.
Mhm.
You can't like lose a game or lose a round or whatever, a set, and then immediately be like, I'm gonna toss my controller into the crowd now, because that's ridiculous. That's like a child. Like a child would do
Yeah.
that.
And look, FGC has like the biggest shit baby of all time. We have LTG. You know, we have low tier god. He's
He
the
plays.
Covenant.
He's
dude.
been doing Ultimate recently. He's trying.
Has he really? Oh,
he's
no,
been
dude,
trying
you
to
guys
get
have
into
him do that.
Yeah. No. He's a cross stream shit baby.
Cross stream, cross generational shit baby, dude.
The thing is, it's not
He's
even
an
like he's
anomaly.
that bad at the games he plays. It's just that he gets hit like one time and he throws his controller and shuts off the console.
Yeah.
Like-
or like, dude, he's got the strongest true combo from getting KO'd into
Oh,
the frame, from getting KO'd into the frame perfect game wipe. You know,
You know, that's always
he
really
X's
funny
out
to
of
me.
that shit instantly. It's fucking hysterical.
I can't believe how perfected he has that.
It's so much more well practiced than all of his other combos. Because he doesn't need to be playing a specific game in order to practice that combo. You know, that one is cross game. It's even cross platform.
I just think it's really
for
funny
certain instances.
because, like we're sitting here, we're talking about like Smash babies and everything, and how there's all these ridiculous people. But like, man, low tier god is really like the top shelf of the babies.
He's a real fucking scum.
Like Like he kind of goes more into the scum category because
Total
you know,
clown.
all that stuff with like fucking Broly legs where he was calling him like a specimen and things.
Yeah, and he's just fucking out here dropping hard R every like 2 seconds on everyone. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
you can. It's your word. That's fair. But
Well, still,
it
but he's
doesn't-
also
It's still horrible.
he says like
usage of it.
derogatory terms toward like things towards black people, which is really odd considering he is black. Like
Yeah, and then like the other half of the time, he's complaining that he doesn't get his support from his brothers. It's like,
yeah,
well, just check your VODs, my man.
yeah.
You're not the most easy person to support and love.
Are you ready for him to get like a tiny whiff of this and start calling us like ghouls and He'll think of something creative. The one thing he's really good at is making fun of people. Like he'll pull out these, like when he was talking about Broly legs, he called him Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which
Dude,
is
and that
for
shit
people
is
who don't
great.
know, Broly legs has like a physical disability where the muscles
He's
in
got-
his
he's
arms
got all
and legs
fucked
are
up.
all the muscles in his arms and legs are very very small and like they don't really work. And he plays with his mouth. He plays
On an Xbox 360 controller,
yeah,
which is
is
tight.
unbelievably impressive.
And he's good.
And he called him Krang because Krang is this little ball of flesh from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's pretty much just like a
who-
brain with tentacles that sits inside of a robot
Yeah.
that it moves around in. Which
So,
is
yeah.
it's
He's very
incredible.
talented when it comes to insulting people, so I'll give
Yeah.
him that. And like I'm sure he would beat the shit out of me in Street Fighter 5, but
Mhm.
but all I'd have to do is hit him with like Wake Up Super one time and he'd rage quit, and then like
And then you,
know,
just take
and
the
then I
game
win
off him,
anyway.
You know? Yeah. You get the moral victory.
Mhm.
So, needless to say, we like LTG, but there's a
Not really.
there's a fair
It's an
amount
ironic
of shit
way.
babies on every side.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we like LTG.
So
I'd
we
say
don't want
like
to seem
making fun
biased
of
coming
LTG.
into this because I mean we're technically a part of both communities, I guess, as just players in general.
Yeah.
But I definitely still lean towards a lot of members in the FGC having better demeanors than players in the Smash community do. And even like guys like Sonic Fox. I mean, he's a rowdy boy. And when he was getting his Games Award shit for like best fighting game player of the year, or best like personality of the year, I forget what it was. You know, he went up there, he was like, he says some shit that pissed people off, but he holds himself to a high standard, not only in his play, but as a person.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's just standing up for what he
He's
believes
not-
in. And
Yeah, he's standing up for what he believes in.
Mhm.
And he's not a shit baby.
you know,
about
it's
it.
not like he like lost, like, because you know, there's been tournaments he's lost where it's not like he loses and then he goes, oh, this other guy is a piece of shit because he beat me and he played in a bullshit way, like you see a lot of people do when Hungrybox wins.
Yeah, dude, that one guy that was more recently when he was playing Ice Climbers at a Melee tournament, and he's the dude that walked up after the set and just left.
Mhm.
It was it Apex? I forget what it was.
I don't
But-
remember the tournament or the players
was-
that were involved, but essentially a guy was getting camped
He was
out
getting
by a
timed out.
Jigglypuff, and he decided, you know what, this isn't worth it, and he got up and left, which is fair.
Mid-set.
Which is fair
That's
to
not
do.
fair. That's not
Well-
fair. You can
Well, I
play
mean-
another character. He wasn't
Well,
going
I
to
mean,
lose
you
the
can,
set from that
you
game.
can
I
leave
think.
whenever you want. I mean, nothing's, but it's kind of embarrassing to leave because the other guy's playing his character the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with him getting up and leaving, but it's kind of embarrassing and dumb.
I mean, what's the
Like, you can
point
do
of
your thing,
competing
you know?
if you hit a
Yeah,
if you hit
yeah,
a
no,
wall
that's-
like that and you're just gonna fucking leave when you find someone that's playing in a way that forces you to think outside the box or make a character switch, something
Especially
like that.
when
'cause-
you're playing a character based around a gimmick too.
yeah,
you
like
know?
he was playing Ice Climbers.
Yeah, like
If you can get zoned out by a puff in that situation, you know, there's
well,
other
it's supposed to be a
viable
really bad
characters to
matchup
play.
for Ices,
Yeah,
but still, even in that case, you don't see people like just being like, "Oh, you're playing a character that's good against mine. I'm leaving. See you later."
you're only allowed to play this list of characters.
Mhm.
No playing Rugal allowed.
Another thing I don't understand about Smash is that people are fine with like Fox and Falco camping you, but Jigglypuff camping is not okay.
Yeah, because
Because-
there's no tech skill. It's not cool.
Well, yeah, because I don't think there's a lot that goes into double laser with Falco or anything like that. Like, that's not particularly hard to do.
Mhm.
I just think it's literally just this is the character I play, so I think it's fine. And then and then with Jigglypuff, it's no one plays this character except for Hungrybox, and I don't like him, so it's bullshit.
Mhm.
Which
And
is
that's
kinda
again,
ridiculous.
that's a classic LTG topic. Is where if he's not, fuck people who play Shotos, but also fuck people who play gimmick characters, but
Yeah.
also fuck people who play zoners. Fuck anyone, even if he's
mirror
playing
matches.
someone. Yeah, he's playing another Urian. Fuck, this guy's stealing my color. Fuck, this guy's stealing my character. He's doing me, but better, but he's worse than me because he's not me. People can find any sort of excuse. I see it in Smash more than I do. Because, I mean, take like Guilty Gear, for example. That game is fucking crazy when it comes to the character-specific matchup shit that you need to know.
Oh, yeah, big time.
The fact that some characters can zone you out, like Venom, will fuck you in a match if you're playing like I think Mei isn't a character that deals too well with zoning. I could be wrong, because I'm not
Mei's not too bad.
I'm not a Guilty
but,
Gear
like,
boy.
let's use Potemkin as an example.
Yeah,
because Potemkin,
great. Yeah,
all he can do is walk forward. He has no dashing. You know, he can use his charge move.
Yeah.
So, like, he gets one hit of armor on that, so he can do a little with that. But still, ultimately, he
Venom
has to really work to
multi-hit
get in.
has multi-hit chip damage supers.
Yeah, he has to work really hard to get in.
And like in that
But you don't
matchup,
see Potemkin
if you're a
players
Potemkin,
just, you know, you got to put up with that if you're playing Potemkin. You don't see them leaving.
Yeah, they don't. I've literally never seen a video of any big Guilty Gear players that are playing Potemkin in that kind of situation just get up and fucking leave.
I haven't seen that. Hasn't been a thing I've seen ever, and I see that all. This is the real thing that confuses me. Is like in all my time watching tournaments, I've seen like very, very rarely someone throw their pad after they lose or like anything like that. Like, you know, you lose your set, and you know, it's very rare for someone to even just get up and not like shake the other person's hand or anything. But you know, Smash, you see it. I wouldn't say frequently, but you know,
it's a
the
bit more
difference is you can
commonplace.
find multiple people whose channels are based on finding these like footage of this and putting it into a compilation for Smash.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't see it for anything other than Smash.
And
I might not be looking. If you guys want to send shit to us, fix us up. Tell us what's up.
There are
Get us the
videos
stuff.
of people like, you know, getting up and screaming and throwing their pad. Like there's one infamous one where the guy loses and then he just fucking smashes his entire fight stick on the ground. He just like explodes it. It's really funny. But
What game was he playing?
I do not remember. I think it was Street Fighter 4, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like it's just like you find more specific examples for that. With Smash, it's like oh, which video of the guy using his controller as like a fucking flail and hitting it into the ground.
Oh, what, the 7th one? Yeah, I saw that in Yeet Smash's compilation 43. In Yeet Smash compilation 43 of dudes breaking their GameCube controllers over their rock hard erection. You know?
That'd be very painful. That would be the worst. Why would you even say that? But yeah, just to make it sound like we don't hate Smash, because we do like Smash. I play a shit ton. I've played so much Melee as a younger kid.
And we're big
like
PM
10.
fans.
Yeah, we play a
Project
shit ton
Plus
of
came
PM
out
still.
recently. Yeah, it's been huge.
You know, I bought every Smash game that's come out and put in tons of hours into all of them. Like, I have nothing wrong with the games. I think the games are incredible. Like, I think they're good games. It's just for some reason the community around it.
Yeah, it attracts a weird
little
crowd.
yikes.
Yeah, a little yikes. I would have to, maybe even a big yikes or a medium. You know, I can settle on a medium yikes.
Medium-sized yikes.
I can settle on a medium-sized yikes with a small Wendy's Frosty, chocolate, not vanilla.
No, that's fair.
Because if you order a vanilla Frosty at Wendy's, I hate you. Only sometimes.
I'm gonna say I only get vanilla Frosties most of the time.
Yeah, I hate you.
Yeah,
Did
that's
I?
fair.
Did I? I mean, I love you. Did I? That's what I meant. If you order vanilla Frosties,
That's fair.
I love you.
All right, let's keep going.
So now that we've pretty much covered the community differences, let's go into Smash itself a bit more, because we're saying we've put a lot of hours in each of the games. What about the different Smash games being 64? I'll include Project M or Project Plus, whatever you want to call it, into this as well, because that shit's my favorite. So of 64, Melee, Brawl, Smash 4, Smush, and Project Plus.
I always like Smush.
I like Smush. It's a really good name. It's super good, dude. So what's been your favorite playstyle, Wiles?
I think.
Actually,
honestly,
continue with what you were
really-
gonna say.
I was gonna say I
before that.
really enjoy Smash 64. Like, I haven't played it in a really long time, but I think Smash 64 is a fantastic game. Like, obviously it feels dated now, but it still feels like it's still very fun.
That game had a
And
good sound font,
It had
too.
a really good, all the sounds in the game are really satisfying when you hit someone, which I think is something the newer games do really poorly. Like, I think Ultimate and Smash 4 have really, really weak hit sounds for the most part.
They don't have, like, you hit a Marth up tilt tipper. Whoosh.
Yeah.
They don't have that, you know?
Yeah, you don't
That's
get
just
that.
not there. Now,
It's not as
there is a
satisfying.
crunching. There is a crunching sound on Marth's tipper in Ultimate and Smash 4, and I like that one a lot. It's similar. Some of Roy's attacks in it have that attack, but that's like the only.
Because he's got the reverse tipper.
Yeah, so that's like the only real sound effect from the fight shit that I really like out of those. But a lot of older previous game sound fonts are just way better in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Brawl
But,
also had that problem with the sounds being a little lackluster compared to like Melee and Smash 64.
I like PM sounds. So it's just Brawl sounds.
Well, PM sounds are not Brawl sounds; they're different.
Oh, did they change them?
Yeah, they added new sounds for
Okay,
PM.
yeah. Okay,
And
that makes a lot of
PM
sense
has
then.
pretty good sounds.
Good sounds. They have a lot of satisfying hitbox sounds.
Yeah,
and shit
I
like
think
that.
that's a really important thing when you're designing any sort of game, like any sort of fighting game of any kind, is to make the hits satisfying to do, because a lot of what makes the game fun is landing your hits, and you know, if it doesn't feel good to hit someone, what else is there? Like the hitbox, or not the hitboxes, the animations on the moves have to make sense, and
they have to carry weight.
feel
them,
good
too.
to
depending
press.
on the attack. If it's like a smash attack, you want to move your character's center of gravity with the attack. You want it to seem logical with how that character would move. You want it to feel right. Same would go with other attacks and shit.
So, which game is your favorite?
I'm very biased towards Project Plus. So far, I've been playing it recently. We used to play it a bunch, like last semester, even my sophomore year in college. I played that shit so much. I'd come back drunk after practicing tech all morning. Then I'd go out, I'd come back, and I'd play my roommates like angrily drunk as Roy, not being able to land a single wave dash the entire time. And I'm just like, why can't I do wave dash now?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I have good memories with it, and I think the gameplay is incredible. It has some of my favorite characters play, like Project M Charizard is fucking awesome. All the other games,
Ivysaur is really nice.
Project M Ivy's amazing too. All the other games, Charizard feels slow and shitty and just lackluster. It doesn't feel like he does what other characters can do, but better. But in Project M, he's got his glide. He's got very fast move speed. His normals are large and have strong priority. He's a genuinely good character with an interesting kit, as opposed to just Flare Blitz, which isn't a bad move, but it's a gimmick tool.
Yeah.
You know, it's only there to catch people off guard, because if you use it full screen, you hurt yourself, and then you get punished.
Yeah, I
You know,
think
that kind of stuff, it's there for every character.
I think PM did a really good job at making all the characters feel satisfying. Like, I think whenever I'm playing Ultimate, like, there are characters in the roster that when I get them, I'm kind of like, if I'm randoming, I'm like, ugh, you know?
Yeah,
Like, I
fucking
don't really
Pac-Man.
like.
Pac-Man's
Yeah,
an
Pac-Man,
ass
Dog,
character.
Duck
Just from a
Hunt Dog
casual standpoint, I dislike
can be
him.
frustrating to play. Like, who else do I not really like? I don't really like Kirby. Like, I'm fine with the other floatier characters like Jigglypuff and like Peach and all those, but Kirby is frustrating for some reason. Just sucks, I guess. He's a shitty character.
Yeah, I mean, one of the issues with Kirby that I find in the game is that his air mobility, like Wario, he's got really good DI control when he's in the air. Kirby's got a lot of jumps, but his air mobility is shit. So, like, how do you make an air-based character really work if his aerial gameplay is slow and readable, you know?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have he has pretty good moves overall. Like, he's got good hitboxes on this shit. He sticks his stinky toe out pretty far.
His big
I like
stinky
it.
toe.
And Kirby's drill, his jumping fucking down air in Ultimate, the hitbox starts from like his head, so his entire body's drilling that. That's a good move. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's not as if he has a good kit to follow up on the good moves. There's more to it than just having hitboxes.
To get back to what I was saying is, like, when I'm playing PM, like, if I hit random, like, basically any character feels really fun to play.
Yeah.
Like, I think they did a really good job at making every character feel different and satisfying.
Yeah, the PM roster does feel unique. in how each character plays. You know,
Mhm.
you're not gonna get samey feels from playing Ness or Lucas. You're not gonna get samey feels from playing Charizard or Bowser.
Well, even Lucas to Ness, they play relatively differently.
They play incredibly different.
Mhm.
Their movement options. They both have sick wave dashes. I'll give it that. But a lot of their game plan and movement is totally different. But they gave them both shines in that game, which it's so cool. So you see their flying shine combos and shit. Like Lucas sticks his fucking pointer finger at you like Jotaro, and then he sends you flying in the opposite direction and then continues comboing. So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So much to say about such a unique product.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Unfortunate that they got shut down. Now
Unfortunate.
they're doing a little with Project Plus, correct? And
Yeah, so that's it was like a one-time balance patch for it, basically. I don't think the devs of Project Plus want to continue past it.
Well, yeah,
if
'cause they're a
they
little
don't have
afraid.
to. Yeah.
Which is very reasonable, obviously,
Mhm.
as Nintendo has been known to blow people's entire lives up just because of things they don't really care about or support anymore.
Yeah,
Like-
fan projects that they realize, man, we should be doing this, and then they shut them down, and then they do it, but worse.
Well, I was gonna say like the emulation stuff, like a lot of those games you can't really get anywhere, and the only way to play them is through emulation. And then Nintendo doesn't do anything with the game still; they just don't want people to use them.
Yeah, real dicks about that, honestly.
Yeah, it's a little dumb. Like I can understand if you could purchase all the games, like all the previous old retro games on the newer consoles, but a lot of them you can't.
Mhm.
And Nintendo still, for some reason, is very protective of them, which is fair because it's their games. But
It's their
also,
beloved
it's like,
IPs.
it's like, come on, like why just do something with them if you're gonna
Stop being old codgers,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
fucking shrivs.
You old shrivs, exactly.
Yeah. So that's my pick for my favorite of the Smash games. I've liked how Ultimate plays though a bit. It feels slow and floaty. I know you've said this as well.
Yeah,
Slow and floaty, but it's got
it's
more
still fun.
competitive mechanics than Smash 4 did.
I'd say Ultimate's still really fun. It's just
Yeah.
not.
I mean, they
my
got Joker in it, dude.
preferred
Joker's
cup of
fucking
tea.
fun.
Yeah. Like
They
if I
need-
had to choose any game to play right now, it'd probably be PM, honestly, because PM,
Yeah.
just PM feels really fun to play.
It's nasty.
Yeah. Like all the characters feel, they have that really satisfying feeling of they're all really good in their own special way, and everyone's got a little bit of jank to it, which I think is really important to make a fun fighting game of any kind.
Yeah, a little bit of jank. It's like Professor Utonium's formula. Just break in a little jank in there at the end
Just
of the
a
day.
little
And
bit of
actually, it'll create the Powerpuff Girls. You never know.
Mhm.
So what's your you'd say PM as well?
Yeah,
To that?
either PM or Smash 64. Honestly, I really enjoy Smash 64.
We have to go back and play that at some point. That'd be
Yeah,
a
definitely.
good thing to get to.
I think it's
One thing, you go.
Smash 64 had like really heavy hit stun on moves, so
Yeah.
you could do a lot of really long, crazy combos. So it's a lot like playing like closer to like a 2D fighter,
Yeah.
where like getting a hit gives you like a full confirm and everything.
Mhm.
So the neutral game in that is really, really tense, which I
It's
think
like
is a really
every-
cool way to do it.
It's like every hit is a counter hit combo.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, think of it like that. Like, you get one little poke, and then it's like, oh, I hit you for like an absurd amount of damage now, like off of just like this long ass combo, and I think that's really fun.
And one thing
Obviously,
that's,
that's not the thing for everyone because some people prefer having a more extended neutral game. I'd say, like where it's more than just like you get hit once and then you lose a stock, or like 2 hits in a stock, which is fair.
Yeah. I was gonna quickly say, on the topic of like everyone being unique, I don't think that there are particularly horrible characters in Smash 64 since everyone's really janky.
Well, there are characters that suck.
Is Ness like dog shit useless in that game?
I think so.
Okay. So they really didn't.
It has the same kind of problem as Melee, where there's
Mhm.
like a very clearly defined top tier list.
I see.
And you know what? The game came out like 20 years ago. I don't really blame them.
Yeah.
It's the first of its kind too. So that's another thing to think about.
hmm That's I think that's a really important thing, is having a having fluid meta for a fighting game, like making it so that you're not always, while there is a defined top tier, you're just gonna see every character played in tournaments.
Mhm.
I think that is my favorite thing that a fighting game can nail down. It's when they create good characters and they make it so that the right player can pretty much use anyone.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's important, which is another thing I don't like about Melee, is that the shittier characters in that game are just worthless because of like the advances in like all the tech. Like, cuz some characters, like obviously like Fox and Falco and just like the top tiers in the game, they really benefit from like all the wave dashing and L canceling and just other various tech. Like Captain Falcon really benefits from like moonwalking and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that the game wasn't really developed with that in mind, because you can balance the game much better if you have that in mind. Which kind of sucks, because L canceling was intended, wave dashing was found. I think if I remember correctly, they found wave dashing when they were developing it, and
Did
they
they
just
really?
And they just kind of like left it in the game because they were like, well, it's cool, it doesn't really do too much, so let's just leave
No
it.
one's gonna be named.
There's no
Mewtwo
way
King
20
and
years from now
figure it
people
out.
are gonna be wave dashing 4 times a second and shining in between.
Yeah,
There's no way.
there's no
And
way.
then
Honestly,
and then it
just
happened.
take a second there. Like, think, if you were the devs if you were Nintendo when you were making Melee, would you genuinely think that is what your game would have developed into?
no.
I
But I
couldn't.
think
I
that's
couldn't have anticipated
that's
that.
the beautiful thing about fighting games, is a lot of the times little things that they left because they were like, whatever, who cares, end up being something that makes the game way more cool, like way more interesting, and gives it more depth.
Yeah. So, Melee has got a lot of jank.
Yeah.
Pretty good game overall. They really did their best to remove that jank from future games once they realized it was there, which kind of sucks dick.
Yeah, I think the jank is a lot of what made it fun. And also the fact that they just slowed the games down. Like, even if they got rid of all the advanced tech, just the fact that Brawl and Smash and just any of the games after Melee are a lot slower, and the way your character moves, like in terms of like air momentum and everything, is a lot different. I think the games, just the movement in the other games feels slower, and it's something that kind of sucks, that makes those games less enjoyable for me. But if you were to come in on Smash Ultimate, I think that it wouldn't matter, and the game would be just as fun.
Yeah, I think it's what makes it good.
Mhm.
Jank is pretty much important in any product, because like unintended stuff, it's you always expect the community to be able. You want to rather create a game that allows the community to push the game to its limits all the time. I feel like being limited by what the devs create for you in some situations, like in Ultimate, it can still be a competitive game, but you don't really have players that have that signature technique with certain characters. You don't have players that are pushing the game to its absolute limits because they're OD.
Well, that same conversation is brought up a lot with Street Fighter V, because that game is a lot more limited. Like in more previous games like Ultimate Street Fighter 4 or Third Strike, like you can kind of tell who's playing the game just from how they're moving around the screen and like what buttons they're pressing and their preferred combos and things like that. But when the game becomes more limited, it's like, well, this is the optimal way to play your character. This is like this combo is always what you want to do when you hit this button, and it kind of makes the game less fun.
I saw Leffen complaining about actually Pichu's gameplay in Ultimate earlier today. It was like, yeah, it's pretty much just 95% of the time neutral with thunderbolts or with thunder jolts, whatever that is, until you hit your fucking your target confirms and you confirm into one combo the whole time. And the gameplay of its ass, because that's just how limited it is.
Well, yeah, because that's not interesting to play. It's not interesting to play against, because this is the one thing they want to do, and that's all they're going to do.
Yeah, my win conditions, just don't let them do that one thing. Now, again, coming into a game like that and being able to develop a game plan around your opponent, that is a competitive thing, you know? But I don't think that's what makes the games particularly great.
Well, I think what makes those kind of things interesting is when you have to think about what the character does and then what the person does with the character as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because just because there's a specific option that someone can use with a character, maybe they don't like that option as much, or maybe they really enjoy that option and they go to it more often. And that's what makes playing against people interesting.
Yeah. It's like you're not just playing against computers, you're playing against a person.
That's where I was gonna go.
Yeah, you're playing against a person, and you know you're trying to get in their head and work against the character that they're piloting. You know, it's more along those lines. So that's why games like Third Strike. I mean, you can even say with Third Strike, with Chun, she has target combos that she wants to go for.
Everyone's got combos.
Yeah, everyone's got combos.
Preferred, but it's just how they get to those combos and what they're gonna do to get to there is the interesting part. Because you could say, oh, always do this combo because it builds the most meter, gives you the most damage, and it's the easiest confirm.
Yeah.
Now, still, the way they get there is entirely different from person to person.
On this topic, Street Fighter V has definitely they've taken that step to try and decrease the skill floor, to lower the skill floor necessary for people to come into their game, and I think that's pretty smart. But there was another game we wanted to talk about that's coming out recently that kind of might be falling into the same issue, and that would be MK11. I've seen a lot of people like Max talk about this on Twitter and in videos, where I think the current case is that the devs are limiting the competitive rule set of the game to no custom moves for certain characters, and they're making a lot of different custom moves for each character, and they're doing that whole gimmick where you can switch out the specials that each character has and blah blah blah. Now,
well, I think that one's a little different. I think that's more the devs being lazy and making the UI hard to set that up on the fly.
Yeah,
because
that's probably it.
If they balance all the moves properly, it should be totally acceptable for someone to go in with a specific moveset. Because what's the point of making it if your game is ultimately a competitive game, and then
you're not
saying
gonna be able to use that?
You can't use any of this.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? That's wasted time, wasted effort. That might help your game sell more, which is also, obviously that's ultimately the thing that matters the most to the devs.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to keep your the community around the game happy, that might not exactly work.
And I think the concept of it is interesting. It's not that it hasn't been done before, because they did this with MKX, where they had character set. They had 3 basic character sets for each character, but they had different specials pretty much on each one. And not only does that allow players to tweak their own character, but it allows the players to tweak their gameplay to what they want.
Yeah, it's the same thing
it's exactly the same thing. It's such a level of fine tuning that you can have that really allows certain players to shine with certain characters and certain sets. You can be like, oh, this is the Daigo Devora or some stupid shit like that, you know? This is Sonic Fox's Aaron Black, as opposed to like this is Katana Prime's Katana, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you get to see a lot of variety, and it kind of sucks that they decided to not really make the UI appropriate so that these can be done on the fly.
I hope in the future that it will be the case that they allow for this, because
they can always fix it in the future.
That's definitely going to be a make it or break it point for their game, because they fixed other stuff too. They fixed like dashing, they fixed running and dashing in fucking the gameplay, because after the open beta, people realized there were a lot of dash canceled combos that you could do in MK9. That if they're trying to replicate the gameplay of MK9 with MK11, that is going to be an important aspect that they would need to implement. And then
what
the team
I remember,
said, okay, and then they put it in.
The dashes were too slow as well. Like they were too slow to the point where it was almost better to just walk forward.
Yeah.
Like it was disadvantageous to dash, which is a really bad idea to have your game with that.
They want to push the whole footsies neutral gameplay with their game. I think that's, again, very cool, because you don't see many mainstream titles forcing you to play neutral.
Yeah, a lot of recent games are just do the big combo.
Yeah, like I actually want to talk about this. I think this is a good area to do so. Talking about the difference between DBFZ as a release title for a large majority of players and casuals alike versus MK11 as a big release title for the same kind of reasons. How they both go about that casual but still high skill model is totally different. It's like polar opposites.
Yeah, I think DBFZ did it really poorly. Like
Horribly.
I think the addition of auto combos in most games is a failure of the devs trying to make their game more casual friendly. But all it does is make them not want to learn.
Yeah. And that's an
Because-
Arc Sys specific thing too, I feel.
Yeah, it's very frustrating that they do that because it doesn't really teach you anything about how to play the game properly. So any time you spend just mashing auto combo is wasted time essentially to learning how to really play the game. And it's really frustrating if you're a new player to come into this game and you're just mashing your auto combo and someone just does this like a touch of death on you.
Yeah, he hits
and
you with
just lose.
his sparking mid-screen touch of death
Yeah.
that he's labbed for like 3 hours because he knows what's up.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like I think that going along the lines of that path to making the game more casual friendly is almost destined to make it so casual players leave your game faster.
Yeah, because it makes so much shit more arcane, harder to figure out. You're not giving them a hand up in learning, you're giving them a hand up in boosting their damage. But then you're locking certain moves for certain characters all behind auto combos. Like, I'd be cool with auto combos if you could do those moves outside of it.
That too.
You know?
I think that's
a
very,
shitty concept.
it's a very annoying way to play it.
Mhm.
Like
Because I don't want to just spam X 3 times when I'm trying
Well, yeah,
to do
it's
my
not
combo.
interesting to do that.
I want to
think-
feel like I'm inputting it.
Yeah. Like that's one of the biggest problems I had with Blaze Blue Cross Tag. Like I tried to play New 13, and one of the combos, like the trials, it was literally just it was just AAA jump, AAA jump, AAA jump, and that I'm not doing that. I basically shut the game off after that because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
not
fucking
interested.
That's shit,
in-
baby.
Yeah, like
That's shit, baby.
well, it's not even about it being like simple execution. It's just it's not interesting. I think a lot of the fun of fighting games comes from learning how to do all your moves and the execution.
Yeah.
Like outside of the mind games, I think
It's
a lot
the-
like that's one of the more interesting parts is getting to sit down and lab out something and learning how to actually use your character properly.
Yeah, and then there's that delayed gratification when it comes from landing that combo for your first time online against
exactly.
another person. Shit like that is what I live for. Like, I was playing Union the other day, and I was labbing this corner combo off 2-2A for Hyde, and it's fucking nice. And I landed it in match off of, like, basically I can do the combo off of the first 2 starters, so it goes 2-2A into 6-6 into 6B.
You should probably,
And-
just for context, give people a little more, like use more general terms.
Oh, okay. So
Just
he has
because
a
I'm gonna assume
down
that
attack.
A lot of people don't follow
Play
Unist.
Unity. Okay, yeah. So Hyde is basically like the Shoto of the game. I like playing Shotos. I think he's pretty stylish. He's got this cool attack where he's kind of close range to like shoot the tip of his sword into the ground, and outside on the other end of the sword comes like a power geyser essentially, and it's cool as fuck. And then after that, you can link it in corner into a dual sword strike where you like slash your sword left and right, and it has pretty long range. And basically, it's kind of a tight combo, but once you learn it, it's really easy, and it does high damage. And I hit that against someone online, and I kind of think it's a hard starter to do because you really have to like frame trap people in order to land it. So actually, it might be a bit easy, but you get the gist.
Well, yeah,
it was hella
really
good.
satisfying to learn something and then get to use it and then see it do
and then
well
like
for you.
winning off that shit too. It feels so good. It's like, you know, that's a high you can't get much where else.
Yeah, I mean, like just hitting X 4 times and getting a combo, and then you hit it again, you get your super. That's not very interesting.
It's not the same because you don't feel the stress of, if I fuck the timing up on this link, I might lose the round.
Yeah.
You know? If I fuck up these tight-ass inputs, and this is one thing that's cool about Melee, is that Melee, while almost to such a horrible extent, has a really high skill gap because of input.
The execution.
Because of
in that
execution
game is
barrier
crazy.
is so high. So when you see really cool shit happen in Melee, most people can just tell by what's happening that must be really hard to do. And then it really being hard to do adds to it for people that know what the fuck's going on.
Well, yeah, because if you know that all someone did to get a really cool combo is press like X 5 times, it's like, oh, well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
But seeing someone sit there and land like a really impressive like a really impressive combo is really, it's like awe-inspiring. You're like, hey, I want to know how to do that. That's really dope.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what helps the games grow, is seeing cool shit happen. Like, can you imagine if for the Daigo parry, all he had to do was hold back and that's what happened?
Yeah, I was looking at the there was a video on some people that did this, and it was like if the Daigo parry happened in Street Fighter V, and it's like the Street Fighter V Ryu parry. It's got so much larger of a parry window. It's retarded.
Yeah.
It's like seeing someone do this in this game, and while it might look just as cool, what's going on in the background, it's not galaxy brained. It's like it's just off timing. It's not as cool. It doesn't take a Daigo to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Even at a tournament level like that, when there's so much stress there, the timing being that much more lenient just kind of, takes away from it.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think that MK11's going about it in a better way just by having the game be more based around smaller pokes and being more neutral and footsie based, because that's something that you have to learn just to play the game.
And for pretty much
For any
all of the
fighting
fighting games, unless you're playing Skullgirls like us, like retards, you
Yeah,
don't.
fuck-
You
you
need
just say
to
fuck
know.
neutral, and
Yeah,
you, just
you can
call
say
Big
fuck
Band
neutral.
Brass or something. And,
You call Eliza fucking Butcher's Blade.
yeah, you know.
And then you hit him with the double flesh step with Butcher's Blade, and you're hitting them high and above, high and behind in like a literal millisecond. Then you don't have to learn neutral as much. But in any other game, your fundamentals have to be so tight in order to succeed. DBFZ doesn't teach that. MK11 is making it a point to force you to learn that stuff. I don't know if they're making tutorials in order to teach that to you.
I would hope.
I would hope, because success in that game is going to be based on these fundamentals. Because it's all about short combos that do decent damage, that you don't need to spend too much time practicing. You can just spend time playing and learning your opponent. But you need to know neutral and how it works. You don't have super dash. Your dash really isn't that great. You're going to have to walk at them because you can't beat the shit out of them without getting closer.
Yeah,
That is a motherfucking JoJo reference.
It is. It really is. But I think that another thing that a lot of fighting games leave out, which makes it much harder for someone who's new to fighting games to get good at, is tutorials. Like, the DBFZ tutorial is atrocious. It teaches you almost nothing that's actually valuable to the game.
Yeah, it only teaches you combos and links sometimes.
Well, it teaches you, like, I'm talking not the trials or anything, but the tutorial itself.
Oh yeah,
It
that shit
teaches
was
you
garbage.
how to walk, how to mash auto combos on X on your light, medium, and hard. It teaches you like how to do a super, and it teaches you how to switch your character, like switch your assistant.
It doesn't teach you your DHCs.
Well,
It doesn't teach you directional DHCs.
Yeah, it didn't teach anything that is like past just knowing how to move on screen, which
There's
I think is an
there's no
absolute
mix-up
tragedy.
blocking tutorial, I think, right?
Yeah, well, they don't even go into anything like that. They just
They
tell
don't
you.
say the word
They
mix-up.
just tell you that you have to block high and you have to block low.
Mhm.
They don't tell you anything about, like, it doesn't teach you how to play the fighting game. It just teaches you that there is a game in front of you and this is how you control the game. Which I think
that's a
is
pretty good
really
example.
stupid, because it is pretty obtuse to learn how to play a fighting game. Like, because honestly, you're gonna get your ass beat for a while. Like, you just have to sit there and keep losing until you kind of understand what you're doing, and then
you
you'll
like
win.
find situations where maybe, because I don't want to advocate you being an anime pro tag. You don't get better just by losing. You have to take certain situations that you find, and you need to go into the lab. You got to be Gimmer.
Well, you gotta
go back to
understand
the
it.
lab again. You got to understand the game, and you got to be able to create solutions to each specific situation that you find, either through gameplay or in the lab. But that takes a keen level
takes
of
some time.
understanding. That takes time in order to figure out, hey, what can I do to figure out what I just got hit by?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think the Skullgirls and Eunice tutorials are pretty much the golden example of how to do a tutorial for your fighting
Without a
game.
doubt. Without a doubt.
Like, the Skullgirls one was always held up as the best until Eunice came out.
Mhm.
And
I still think I like
I would
Skullgirls
tell-
is better.
Yeah, the
that's
Skullgirls
just-
one is pretty valuable.
I think that it's just got a bit more personality to it.
That too.
Because, you got your Skullgirls team on it, and like they say fucking and like they give you all character descriptions and shit like that. But then again, Unists, for their character, you know what? You take it away. We'll get into this later.
I was gonna say that I've even told people if you're trying to learn any fighting game, play the Skullgirls tutorial.
Yeah.
Like when another member of our channel, Tone, he was learning how to play Eunice, and I said, Tone, I know you're not gonna like this, but download Skullgirls and go play the tutorial for that, because actually it was before Eunice, it was Uniel.
Yeah, it was
Because
Uniel. So
Uniel
they
didn't have a
tutorials,
good tutorial.
Yeah.
But so I told him, go download the Skullgirls tutorial. It'll teach you all about how to play a fighting game and like stuff like whiff punishing and just stuff that doesn't really cross your mind unless someone tells you about it.
Yeah, because you're like, what the fuck is a whiff punish? What the fuck is blocking? What the fuck's blocking or OSing? That's a big one. No one has any idea what an option select is in the beginning, and there's a lot of acronyms that people use for this kind of stuff. That makes it even harder to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you're sitting there with someone who says this, and can explain everything to you. It's like you're trying to watch Game of Thrones, and you're starting at the new season premieres and shit, but everyone's already watched the entire series. They already know all the characters. They know the plot. They know what certain factions have to do within this to get whatever. And you're just sitting there and you're like, why is that little girl fucking that old man? And that's pretty much it. You gotta have a guide. You gotta have like Hell's Usher to get you through this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, when me and Justin were learning,
ways.
started. Yeah, exactly. In other ways, like don't watch child porn. Play Skullgirls. That's way better. But then again, that might
Is that a
be-
real thing that was just said on this podcast?
Wait, but it's still okay. So Skullgirls may be porn, yeah, but I mean, play it anyway. It's good.
I mean,
And
I was just gonna say, don't watch child porn. Play Skullgirls.
That's a great line. I thought that was genius.
Well, yeah, but I think it. I don't think that first part needs to be said. Even like, just play Skullgirls.
Yeah, just play Skullgirls. This guy, he's an innovator. He knows
Yeah.
what's up.
I didn't know we had to tell people the first part. Just like, hey, don't do that
Yeah,
one. Don't do
okay,
that.
Justin. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, the Skullgirls tutorial is great, and I think that every fighting game dev should look at the Skullgirls tutorial and now the Eunice tutorial and see how they can apply those things to their games to make it easier for people to learn.
Yeah, and one thing I really like about the Eunice tutorials, I was going to bring it up earlier, but I was being stupid. So, Eunice tutorials, they give you character-specific tutorials, and Skullgirls character-specific tutorials, they tell you your character's basic game plan, and then they tell you all your character's special moves and command normals. Now, the Eunice tutorial tells you safe on block strings for some characters, like for Hyde, they'll teach you the 6B into 5C charged into 2A rebeat that is positive on block. So that's a block string that you can do in the game, and it keeps you safe. They tell you how to hit confirm that if you actually landed into something. They tell you what normals you can use in neutral that are really good for certain things. They tell you certain properties on supers, which Skullgirls does too. But they tell you properties on supers and use
past like
for
basic
neutral.
ideas. Like,
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like when someone's new to a fighting game, they won't even know what being plus on block is. But the game, the tutorial teaches you about all that stuff, and
It
keeping
teaches you
yourself
from
safe,
the ground up.
which I think is super valuable because you get people like who are new and they say, "Well, I'm going to press the heaviest button I have because it does the most damage," and they don't even really think about the fact that it's like, "Oh, well, this move is easier to punish," even though it makes sense.
In a French bread game, that's kind of okay.
Well, that's
to
not
do.
even true. In French bread games, you can just press any button whenever you want most of the time. But in like let's use Street Fighter as an example. Like if you push your heavy button and just walk up to someone and push hard punch, they're gonna hit you. But someone who's newer to fighting games might not really follow that idea as much, because obviously it makes sense, like just from a common sense standpoint, that your heavy attacks gonna be slower. But they might be thinking about like the startup rather than the amount of time after the attack where you can be punished.
Because they don't know about end lag either. People might not.
Yeah.
They might not figure that out. It's like why do I get fucking hit every time I use this move? You know, it's
exactly.
Like their immediate thought process there would be, oh, okay, never use this because I'm gonna get punished for it.
Yeah, basically.
There's a lot of situational knowledge that's lost without tutorials like Eunice to guide you through that. And yes, Eunice starts, it's again, from the ground up. It teaches you about all the blocking that you can do, teaches you about shielding, teaches you about grabs, I guess, grab, throw,
Well, it just
teching,
teaches you
shit
all the
like that.
mechanics in a way that makes sense rather than just saying this is what it does. Like, this is the
Yeah.
button you press to do this,
And
which is
and
important.
again, it also does that shit. It does everything and more.
Well, yeah, because it shows you how to do the thing, why you do the thing, and what situation you should do the thing.
Yeah.
Which I think
And then if you do the
is
thing,
fucking
how to
incredible.
do the other thing, that makes the first thing okay to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they just, like, a lot of, like, let's just go back to DBFZ, because that game's tutorial is the worst ever. And so many
Yeah.
people I knew bought DBFZ and then stopped playing it because it's
Yeah,
just
we
like,
we really hyped it up for our group because we got a lot of
Yeah.
DBZ fans, a lot of people that are new to 2D fighters. We were like, yo, this is gonna be it.
This is gonna be
You
the
boys
game.
are gonna get on the grind, and it wasn't the game.
because
It
they
was
talked
so
about the game being really good for newer players because they simplified it. And I remember kind of being like, oh, all right, that's fine, I guess.
yeah.
And the way they did it, I don't think it was a good way to do it. Like, also just simplifying the inputs from like, let's do, like, they got rid of the dragon punch, which is going from forward to down forward, which on its own, like, if you don't play fighting games, that doesn't really sound like a lot.
It's
but-
a hard input to do consistently for a while.
Yeah, for newer players, it's a relatively difficult thing to understand, like, to get, like, movement inputs down.
Mhm.
But
Like
By
how to
getting
dash
rid
up
of
and
those-
not get a DP instead of a fireball. You know,
Yeah.
that's still stuff I struggle with sometimes.
by getting rid of all, like, the different inputs, like, you have forward quarter circle and backwards quarter circle, basically.
Mhm.
It really limits what each character can do, which in turn makes the game a little less interesting.
Yeah, because every character only has 2 specials at that point, as opposed to what could be at least 4.
Yeah,
At least.
even if you just had only that and Dragon Punch in both directions.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
And that's save half circles, 360s, pretzel
Yeah.
inputs. You know, the whole slew.
Yeah,
of them.
if you can throw in so many other different inputs. But
To
I think
only have quarter circles, it's atrocious because it makes the game homogenized. It doesn't make every character feel like a cool character.
I just think
like-
they really messed up on making the game interesting for both casual players and more serious fighting game players in the worst way possible for both.
Yep.
Because new players are still going to get blown up by older players that have played other games in the past, and they're, instead of saying, oh, well, it took the same amount of hits for them to do it to me that I could have done it to them, they're just going to say, why'd this guy get a full combo that killed me instantly? And they're going to leave. And that's basically what happened. You know, like the people that we introduced to the game, they played for maybe like a week, and then it got to the point where it's like you can no longer play the game without knowing like a little bit of combos or anything like that, and they just dropped it because it's like, well, this isn't, I don't know what I'm doing still.
There's no guide.
Yeah. And you can only do so much to teach someone. Like, they still have to, they still have to put in effort on their own.
And it's really hard to put in effort on your own.
Yeah,
Not
definitely.
only if you, like me and Justin, we're lucky. We were both motivated to learn fighting games around the same time. We thought Skullgirls was cool. The game provided us with the materials to learn on our own, and we were able to practice against each other. And we stayed pretty consistent, even up until now, as players against each other in skill level.
Yeah, exactly.
So we always have someone again that's our level to play against. And if there's differences in motivation between like the people we were teaching, which there were, that becomes a lot harder because everyone else you play against blows you up.
Yeah, I think that they just kind of, they should have tried to make the game easier by making it easier to get in rather than making the game simpler on its own.
Yeah,
essentially.
because there's no like, well, there kind of is, because like you've seen that fucking quip, that clip of like Goichi versus Leffen in that one set. And Leffen's playing as Android 21, and then Goichi's playing as his Bardock. And that set's cool. That's
Yeah.
really hype.
Well, the game's
And-
still cool to watch. It's just,
You don't have, like, You don't have, like, Leffen's Android 21. You don't have Goichi's Bardock. You have every Japanese competitive player's Bardock in the world. You know? There's very specific optimal ways to play each character, very specific optimal combos that are pretty much universal in all teams. You know, There's no level of tweaking it that players can really do with their characters,
Yeah.
with their teams.
Yeah,
Now, there's a lot of characters
comes from
to
a lot
play.
of the like the very limited movesets from only having quarter circles. Like every character has 2 specials, 3 specials tops, and it screws
and like
them.
a key blast or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ass is what I'm trying to say. It's real ass. It's OD ass.
So now I think an interesting thing that's going to be coming up is Samurai Showdown, since that game is going to be very, very emphasizing the idea of very short combos, like maybe 1 hit into special.
Yeah.
And I think that game is going to do wonders for new players because, sure, it's very punishing to get hit by these moves because, you know, each hit's going to take like a 20% of your health bar or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But the fact that the game is based around having these very easy execution combos and then just going for just purely like a neutral / footsies kind of mind game play.
It's the ultimate test of player skill.
Yeah.
With the
you don't
lowest
have to-
entry barrier.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about learning these long, like 30-second combos like you would in DBFZ or anything like that. Any sort of team fighting game, or even Unist has pretty long combos. Like you can just focus on learning how to play the game, which I think is going to be great for new players. But the problem is, will new players play it? Who knows?
Well, hopefully they see it at EVO when it shows up and they're like, yo, that's fucking dope, because it's going to be there and it's going to be cool as fuck, I feel.
I
Because
think it's going to be awesome.
I think that once players get their hands on the game, they're going to get it for a tiny bit, they're going to understand core mechanics, and that's all they need. They need to know the character's normal list, know the core mechanics, pick a character they like, play them for like an hour, you're EVO ready. It's going to be so fucking cool.
I wouldn't say that.
I know, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, no, you
It's
can
gonna-
definitely you can hold your own within.
Yeah,
like,
people are going to be able to get
just
to
by
high
learning
levels
how
of
to
play
play the
pretty
game.
quickly, I feel.
No, I wouldn't say that either, because there is still some stuff where like characters can set up like unblockables and everything.
Well, there's old Sam Show players that are going to be
Yeah.
able to do that, at the very least.
Well, I mean,
I know
that's just
they've
how
had
the
their-
game starts. Like just from the
Yeah.
beginning, you can do that. Like I believe Genjiro has something where he can throw a projectile. He can shoot one of his card projectiles at you, and he can get it so it'll hit you on the, like if you backdash, it'll hit you. If you don't move at all, you get hit by like his sword, and you can set up some interesting stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
So I think obviously there's more to it than just press the button and do big damage, like because there's all the mind games and everything, and setting up like certain situations to make it advantages for you. But I think the game is gonna do a really good job at teaching people how to play fighting games.
Because you're gonna see something that someone else is able to do to you, and I feel as if they explain it to you really quick, or even if it's just like a small hit confirm, you're gonna be able to do it.
You can teach it to someone pretty quick.
It's not like you're showing someone this really cool Skullgirls combo, and which has like fucking 7 layered mix-ups all throughout the combo that you can stop and reset someone at any point. And then they're like, oh, so how do you do that? And then you're like, all right, so it has to be off a heavy counter hit starter. It's going to be on hard punch, and then you're going to go into your airstring restand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's none of that. That stuff's cool, but it's only cool to people who really know what the fuck any of it is.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's important to keep in mind.
But for Sam Show, it's going to be like, oh, well, I was a bit farther away from you, and you did your big normal, and then I did my big normal, and then I linked into this, and they're like, yo, that's pretty dope. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's going to be nice. It's going to be a real good change of pace from a lot of these high skill cap games that we've seen come out recently, honestly. High skill barrier games.
Yeah, okay, I
we've
was going
seen
to say,
come out.
because
Yeah,
the
no,
game's
no,
still
no,
going to
no.
be high skill. It's just the skill will be more on understanding the game rather than very high execution.
And again,
but that's
I'm
not
also
to say anything about the execution, because it's still going to be an SNK game, which means you're going to have all the SNK inputs, which are always fun for new people to learn.
Yeah.
Nothing like those just like quarter circle forward, half circle back or something. Like it's not
I really like that input, honestly.
it's pretty fun to do. But for someone who's new, they see like 12 arrows and they're like, "Oh shit."
And honestly, even when
It scares
players that are new, eventually they see that input, if they practice it a bit, they eventually do it, and they can land like a single move that is that input on someone in game. It's gonna feel so good.
Well, yeah, it's really
It's
satisfying.
gonna feel validating, like they can make progress in this game,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exciting. That's exciting to think about.
Yeah, because I mean, fighting games have always, or not always, but they're a genre that is harder to get into. Because anyone can pick up a controller and then have fun in like in Call of Duty or something like that pretty quickly. Once you get like a hang of it, because you die and then you're back in it instantly, and it's not very punishing to die. But in a fighting game, if you're losing, it's like a minute of getting hit and then you die. And
Yeah,
it's kind of
depressing.
demoralizing.
It's depressing the whole way.
Yeah, like if you're playing, like I'll just use Skullgirls as an example, because that game is really demoralizing if you just get like
Yeah.
perfected by someone.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen too often to me anymore, because just like I've gotten to the point where I usually get at least like a little bit of a hit on someone. Like I haven't really played any like super ridiculous players, like any of the ones you see at like the tournaments and everything, but you still get you verse some online killers.
Yeah, some
And-
some online Bayo Band warriors.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll just perfect you, and you'll be like,
They'll
well,
pop you, man.
well, that hurts, because you just have to sit there and watch as they do like as they kill one character and then the round
Quadruple
starts.
layered command grab mix-ups.
Yeah,
in corner.
exactly.
It's like,
But like they kill
It's
one
pain.
character, and then your next character comes in, and they're immediately being hit, and you're like, oh no. And then you get to your
'cause
next character.
they hit you with the side switch
And you're like, oh, no.
character entry mix-up.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Jesus.
And it's just, that could be really demoralizing. Like if it was your first time playing the game and some dude's just fucking running a train on you like that, it's gonna hurt. And there's not really a way around that other than just, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because like if you're playing like a shooter, at least you have a team, so like maybe someone saves you from dying or something along those lines. And like there's less to worry about on yourself. You can blame it on your team if you lose.
Yeah,
Basically.
no, that's the same with MOBAs too. It's like internalized victory, externalized failure. You can't really do that in a fighting game. You
Well,
can
yeah, 'cause
only
if
do
you
that
lost,
so
it's
much.
entirely on you.
You
'Cause
are
ultimately
It's you,
you lost
versus
because
that
of-
dude right
yeah.
in front of you.
Yeah, you lost because the other guy played better for the most. Like it very rarely is there a time where it's like, man, I lost and it's not my fault.
Even coming down to like the characters you pick.
Yeah.
You pick, you have to know the strengths and weaknesses of your character, not only in certain matchups, just in general when you're playing the game. And if your character is low tier, sometimes you got to hold that, but it makes the victory that much better.
Exactly.
That's also true. That's another great thing. So, what I'm saying is, fighting games are OD.
Yeah. Go play fighting games.
Go play fighting games and don't
Don't not play fighting games.
don't not play fighting games.
In the
But
words
play
of,
fighting games with tutorials.
Of Sharpie, play Skullgirls.
Play Skullgirls. I would absolutely agree.